Hot news today. Well, the NFL launching an investigation into new allegations that it had a copy of the Ray Rice elevator punch video months ago, but failed to act on it.
So what is next? Should NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell resign? Will the NFL suffer any meaningful impact, or is it essentially bulletproof? With us now, Kevin Adler, Engage Marketing President and Founder, and Eugene Lee, one of our favorites around here, NFL agent and counsel at Garvey Schubert Barrer. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming. Kevin, I want to go to you first. You know the dilemma. It's a dilemma for Roger Goodell. If he didn't see the tape, he's not fully in control. But if he did see the tape, then he wasn't telling the truth when he said he didn't. I understand that issue, but I'm just wondering if there is I sense there is a pile on Roger Goodell right now, maybe because of what he did in the past that didn't please people. Am I right?
Well, there's no question there's a pile-on in terms of how that plays out. I think time and facts will dictate how that plays out.
Okay. Eugene, right over to you in terms of the dollars and cents of all this. As a player representative, agent, what are you hearing from the players? I mean, do they feel that this is just fair? I mean, are you warning them about, contract language? How will it affect the bottom line, do you think?
Well, a lot of the players are thinking that it's time that Roger Goodell is now at the center of the firestorm. He has been the main source of discipline for the last several years in the NFL, bringing down punishment and discipline upon many players for various offenses, from drugs to domestic violence. And at this point in time, you have NFL players, you have lawmakers, activist groups such as the National Organization for Women calling for accountability and transparency in the process. They want to understand and know that the NFL followed the right protocols in its investigation of the matter, and that's the key. But
Eugene, I'm kind of surprised to hear that, because he was pretty light on Rice, and I would think the players would want to see one of their own not treated too harshly. Am I wrong?
There are certain crimes in our society that are deplorable, that are so reprehensible that you won't get backing from hardly anyone besides a parent. I mean, even then it might be a little bit difficult. And one is domestic violence. It is a very serious crime, and it is a crime that I don't think any NFL player would support.
Well, particularly when you see the video of him cold cocking her, she could have died as a result of that bash in her head. Literally, I don't know anybody in the universe who would defend any behavior like that. Clearly, if Goodell had seen that footage, don't you think he would have acted differently?
I think so. I think so. The key question is, why are there so many inconsistencies in the story?
Well, why do you think?
Given the NFL's vast resources, you would tend to think a reasonably prudent person, which is the legal standard, a reasonably prudent person would tend to believe that NFL security would know to approach not only the New Jersey State Police, but the Atlantic City Police Department and hotel security to exhaust every possible resource in its investigation of this matter, given the gravity of the alleged crime.
Okay, Kevin, back to you. Talk about, for me, the overall monetary implications here. I mean, when all is said and done, whether or not Goodell stays or leaves, the language, however it all comes to pass, do you think that it will ultimately result in lower viewership, lower sales of jerseys,
Sure.
ad revenue?
Yeah, ultimately in the long term, I don't. I think you have to look at the NFL as a brand. You have to look at Ray Rice as a brand. Certainly both those brands at different levels of scale and severity have suffered short-term, well, in Ray Rice's case, perhaps long-term and permanent damage to their brands. I think the NFL will recover from this. I think if you look at it's Thursday night, I don't think you'll see a decline in viewership.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but it's like the train wreck, the car accident. Maybe more viewers who perhaps weren't football fans are going to pop on a game just to hear the commentators remark on this latest scandal.
I don't necessarily. I don't think bad news is good news for the league in this particular case. I don't think you'll be seeing non-NFL fans tuning into an NFL game in the hopes that the commentators may address this issue. I think quite the opposite. I think you'll see avid NFL fans stay with the NFL because the product on the field remains a quality product.
Eugene, very quickly to you, I couldn't agree with you more that the heinous nature of this crime, and I think it was a crime, even though the wife didn't prosecute, I think he's a danger to the community, given what he did in that elevator. I would assume that you would then say that his career is finished. There is no way, no how he is coming back. Am I right?
I think it would require a miracle for Ray Rice to land with another NFL team, given the PR nightmare, the firestorm that would ensue if he were to sign with an NFL team.
I agree with you. Gentlemen, thank you.
Just a disgusting video. Both
It is something else. Kevin Adler, Eugene Lee, thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Well, the